Congratulations. You just passed the licensing exam. After 6 years of pharmacy school, 2 years of residency, and enough student debt to make your stomach hurt, you're finally a licensed pharmacist. You land a job at a retail pharmacy. The pay is decent. The hours aren't. Most days aren't spent saving lives. They're spent arguing with insurance companies. A woman needs insulin. Her insurance denies coverage. A man needs heart medication. His copay is higher than his rent. A father stands at the counter trying to decide whether he should buy his daughter's asthma medication or groceries. You spend your days watching people lose arguments against numbers on a computer screen. You aren't a criminal. Not yet. You're a pharmacist. A middleman between medicine and the people who need it. At least that's what you tell yourself. 3 years pass. You get promoted. You move into a slightly bigger apartment. Your student loans shrink a little. Your savings account grows a little, but every month still feels like you're running uphill. Then one night, a woman arrives 5 minutes before closing. She's exhausted. Her eyes are red. Her hands won't stop shaking. She places an insulin prescription on the counter. You scan it. Insurance denied. Again. The cost is over $800. The woman starts crying. Not loudly, just enough. The kind of crying people do when they've already exhausted every other option. "My son needs this tonight," she says. You look at the screen, you look at the woman, you look back at the screen, then you do something stupid, something illegal, something very small. At least it feels small. You override the system. The inventory count changes, the paperwork doesn't. You hand her the insulin. She leaves $50 on the counter. You tell her not to. She leaves it anyway. You watch her walk out. You tell yourself you'll never do it again. 3 days later, another person shows up. Then another. Then another. Word spreads. You don't know how. You don't ask. A construction worker needs antibiotics. A diabetic needs insulin. A woman needs medication her insurance company won't cover. Most of them aren't criminals. Most of them are just desperate. You start keeping certain medications off the books. Nothing dangerous. Nothing addictive. Just medicine. Medicine people genuinely need. The envelopes start appearing. Cash. Small amounts at first. Then larger amounts. You pay off a credit card. Then another. Then another. For the first time in years, your bank account starts moving in the right direction. You sleep better. You eat better. You stop checking your balance every morning. You tell yourself you're helping people. Because you are. Mostly. That's the dangerous part. The good you're doing makes the bad easier to ignore. 6 months later, a man you've never seen before walks into the pharmacy. He doesn't browse. He doesn't ask questions. He walks directly to your counter. He slides a prescription across. You examine it. Something feels wrong. The doctor's signature looks real. Too real. The dosage is enormous. Enough painkillers to keep a small clinic stocked for weeks. You look up. The man smiles. Can you fill it? You shake your head. No. He nods, like he expected that answer. Then he places an envelope on the counter. You don't open it. You don't have to. You can feel the weight. You can practically count the bills through the paper. No. You push it back. The man shrugs. He leaves. The next morning, you find the envelope sitting on your windshield. Inside is $5,000 and another prescription. This time for a different name, different doctor, same medication. You throw it away. 2 days later, another one arrives. Then another. Then another. Eventually, you stop throwing them away. You start asking fewer questions. The money becomes impossible to ignore. Your student debt disappears. Your car gets replaced. Your apartment gets upgraded. Your life gets easier. A little compromise here. A little compromise there. Nothing dramatic. Nothing movie-worthy. Just paperwork. Just numbers. Just pills. That's what makes it so easy. You aren't selling drugs. You're filling prescriptions. At least that's what you tell yourself. A year later, you aren't working alone anymore. You know doctors willing to sign things they shouldn't. You know couriers willing to transport things they shouldn't. You know warehouse managers willing to ignore things they shouldn't. You've built a network, not intentionally, not at first. It just happened. 1 favor became 2. 2 became 10. 10 became a business. You make more money in a month than you used to make in a year. You finally feel successful, respected, needed, important. Then one night after closing, someone knocks on the pharmacy door. You ignore it. The knocking continues, slow, patient, confident. You look outside. A black SUV is parked across the street. 2 men stand beside it. Neither of them looks nervous. Neither of them looks like a customer. One of them raises a hand and motions for you to come outside. You don't move. A moment later, your phone rings. The caller ID says unknown. You answer. A calm voice speaks. "We've been watching you." The line goes silent. Then the voice speaks again. "We think it's time for a promotion." You don't sleep that night. You tell yourself it's probably a competitor, a supplier, a customer, maybe even law enforcement. But deep down, you know better. Nobody says promotion like that. Nobody says it like a reward. The next evening, the black SUV returns. This time, they don't wait for you to come outside. A man enters the pharmacy. Expensive suit, expensive watch, the kind of confidence money can't buy, only power can. He places a business card on the counter. No company name, no logo, just an address. Tomorrow, 10 p.m. Then he leaves. You should ignore it. You should call the police. You should walk away. Instead, you show up. The address leads to an industrial district on the edge of the city, the kind of place nobody visits unless they have a reason. A warehouse sits alone at the end of the road. The doors slide open. You step inside and freeze. The warehouse is enormous. Rows of shelves stretch into the darkness. Pallets stacked floor to ceiling. Medicine, thousands of boxes, insulin, antibiotics, painkillers, cancer drugs, enough inventory to supply entire hospitals. You stare. The suited man smiles. Impressive, isn't it? You ask who owns all this. He laughs. The same people who own everything. He starts walking. You follow. Because at this point, what else are you going to do? You pass forklifts, loading docks, armed guards, computer stations, shipping manifests. Everything organized, everything professional. This isn't some gang operation. This is infrastructure. The man stops beside a map. Colored lines stretch across continents, warehouses, ports, air routes, supply chains. This is where your prescriptions go. You stare at the map. You suddenly realize how small your operation really was. You thought you were running a business. You weren't even a branch. You were a customer. "We need someone like you," the man says. Reliable, smart, discreet. You tell him you're not interested. He smiles. Everyone smiles in situations like this. Nobody ever laughs, because everyone already knows the answer. 3 months later, you're managing inventory. 6 months later, you're managing shipments. A year later, you're managing people, pharmacists, doctors, warehouse supervisors, couriers. You stop filling prescriptions. You start controlling supply. Entire regions depend on your decisions. One delayed shipment means hundreds of patients go without medication. One rerouted truck means millions of dollars disappear. You become indispensable. The money is absurd. You buy a house, then another, investment accounts, vacation properties, a watch worth more than your first year's salary, everything you've ever wanted. But the strange thing about success is that eventually it stops feeling like success. It just feels normal. The paranoia arrives slowly. A car parked outside too long, an unfamiliar face at a restaurant, a phone call that ends the moment you answer. You start checking mirrors, changing routes, looking over your shoulder. You stop trusting strangers. Then you stop trusting friends. Then eventually you stop trusting yourself. Years pass. The network grows. New warehouses, new suppliers, new countries. Every year you're given more responsibility. Every year you become harder to replace. Until one day you wake up exhausted. Not physically, existentially. You have enough money. More than enough. Your investments can support you forever. Your family is secure. Your future is secure. For the first time in years, you ask yourself a simple question. Why am I still doing this? The answer surprises you. You don't know, so you make a decision. You're done. No more warehouses. No more shipments. No more burner phones. No more looking over your shoulder. You schedule a meeting. The cartel representative arrives exactly on time. Same suit, same smile. You tell him you're retiring. You want out. The room becomes quiet. For a moment, he just stares at you. Then he smiles. Out? He laughs. Not because the idea is funny, because the idea is impossible. You own 3 pharmacies. You control 6 warehouses. You move more product than some countries. You don't get out. The words hit harder than any threat, because they're true. You suddenly understand something. You know every supplier, every route, every warehouse, every doctor, every politician, every bribe, every secret. You aren't an employee anymore. You are institutional knowledge. The representative leans back. We spent 10 years building you. That's when it finally clicks. You thought you owned the network. You thought all those promotions meant freedom. You thought every step upward made you more powerful, but every promotion was another chain. Every responsibility was another lock. Every success was another wall. The representative stands. The meeting is over. As he leaves, he pauses at the door. You don't own the network. He smiles. You are the network. Then he's gone. You sit alone, and for the first time in years, you finally understand what happened. You started by helping people get medicine they couldn't afford. You told yourself you were doing good. Then, you told yourself you were helping the system. Then, you became the system. The tragedy isn't that you're trapped. The tragedy is that you never noticed the cage being built around you, because it was built one promotion at a time, one opportunity at a time, one compromise at a time. And once a system needs you badly enough, it never lets you leave. Thank you for watching Vinta.